Hi, I'm Caroline. Welcome to my channel where we talk about books, writing, and storytelling. And today I'm really excited about this video because this is a video that is like my homage to the Authortubers who have inspired me and who I love to watch. Because I have been somebody who has been watching Authortube videos for years at this point, like probably since 2018 or 2019. And I have been telling myself, oh, I would love to start making Authortube or book-related or writing-related content for a lot of those years. And I just never really started. And so now I obviously am starting. I am trying to post these videos, and I'm really trying to break myself out of this think about doing something and watch other people do it and want it, but don't do it pattern that I find myself in sometimes. And so I am so excited to actually be posting videos and making videos, but I also really want to say thank you to all the Authortubers that I watch who inspire me. I know that most of them will probably never see this video, but one way that I wanted to just kind of show how inspired I am is to do kind of a writing experiment, because the first Authortuber I ever really got into watching was Kate Kavanaugh, and she has done so many amazing writing experiments. And so I decided that I wanted to pick 3 writing sprint strategies from different Authortubers and try them out myself as kind of a writing experiment. And so the first one of those comes from Alyssa in the Books, and she does a Vivaldi 4 Seasons writing sprint where she plays the Vivaldi 4 Seasons concerto, which is 42 minutes, and does a writing sprint to it. So I wanted to try that because I also really love Alyssa's content. And then I wanted to do what Alyssa in the Books and Brielle Wrights have both talked about. I think they came up with it together maybe, but they call it a ladder, where they're doing a 12-minute sprint, a 24-minute sprint, a 36-minute sprint, and a 48-minute sprint, and it adds up to 2 hours. And then because Kate Kavanaugh was such a huge influence in terms of me getting into watching Authortube videos and me wanting to be an Authortuber, I wanted to do one of her writing experiments as well. And she has one called the Stair Step writing method, where you're going up and down in terms of the timing of your writing sprint. So you can go from 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or 15 minutes to 10 minutes, kind of depending on the criteria. And if you beat yourself in terms of do you get more words than you got in the last sprint. And so I want to try that as well. And so I'm actually filming this intro after I have done all these, because I didn't film an intro. I just kind of went right into doing it. And so I have done the Vivaldi Sprint, the ladder, and the Stair Step writing challenge over the course of the past couple weeks. And I am excited to kind of share my results with you. Hi. So it is May 14th. It's 5:45 p.m. I have worked all day at my day job in tech, and now I'm ready to try and get some writing done. I'm going to be trying the Vivaldi Sprints that the Authortuber Alyssa in the Books has talked about. And by the way, if you haven't been watching Alyssa in the Books, go check out that channel. It's so much fun to watch. But I'm going to be trying this, and it's where you look up the Vivaldi's 4 Seasons, the concerto, and put it on and do a writing sprint to it. And I think it's about 50 minutes. And of all the writing sprint kind of techniques that I've identified that I'm trying in this video, this one is I think the shortest total amount of time, even though some of the other ones have smaller sprints in them. And I've just, working all day, I think this is the most that I can do tonight. So I'm gonna start with this one. I am going to be working on my Highwayman Regency romance. So, Regency Georgian, my Highwayman historical romance. And I'm actually very excited about the scene that I'm working on. It's a scene where my heroine has been dressed as a boy, and the hero, who's a highwayman, is going to be finding out that she is, in fact, not a boy, she's a woman. And I'm excited for it. It's a trope that I love. I started writing the scene by hand in a notebook last week, and then I really haven't time. So I'm going to spend the first couple minutes of the sprint just reading what I have, and then I'm going to start working on that scene, and hopefully I'll be able to get through it. I do have my walking pad set up. I'm going to try and get some steps in as well, just because I have been sitting all day at work. So I'm excited to get started. So I have finished my Vivaldi 4-season sprint, and it turns out that it was about 42 minutes or so, and I wrote 920 words. So it's okay. I'm not the fastest writer, so I'm pretty happy with that. I didn't finish the scene, but I will just continue working on it. But overall, I think it was a good experience. So thanks to Alyssa and the books for the Vivaldi Sprint. So, hi, hello. It is another day. My hair's wet. I just showered, but I am here. I made myself a nice little iced coffee, a little shaken espresso, and today I am trying to do the ladder writing sprint method that I have heard Brielle from the channel Brielle Writes and Alyssa from Alyssa in the Book talk about, and I think it's something that one or both of them came up with, but I am going to be trying to accomplish it today. And it does equate to about 2 hours, or exactly 2 hours of writing. So the way it works is it is a 12-minute sprint, and then you add 12 minutes. So it's a 12-minute sprint, and then a 24-minute sprint, then a 36-minute sprint, and then a 48-minute sprint. So in total, it comes to 2 hours. And the way I understand it, they don't need to be back to back. So I have all day to get these 4 sprints in. And 2 hours of writing in a day for me is a lot. It's more than I typically do. It's something that I would like to be closer to more often. But I don't typically have the writing stamina to do 2 hours in a day. But I'm hoping to kind of push through, and especially with it being 4 shorter sprints, get to the 2 hours, and I'm excited to see how much I can get done. I am working in the same project I was working in before. It's my Highwayman historical romance, and I am in my first draft stage, so I'm going to be drafting. So I think that's a good stage for sprints. So the first 12-minute sprint has ended. I was writing in For the Words, which, if you're not familiar with it, it's a website where you can write in the website, and there's quests and monsters that you can kill. Like you need to write for a certain amount of time or write a certain number of words and you kill a monster. And it kind of gamifies writing. I've been using it this year. I've been enjoying it kind of on and off, but I'm currently using it. So I was writing in For the Words. I defeated 3 monsters in the 12 minutes, and I wrote a total of 285 words. And that next sprint is going to be the 24-minute sprint. So I think I'm going to do that now, go straight from the 12 into 24, and then maybe I'll take a break depending on how I'm feeling. So that is the 24-minute sprint done. And so my total word count, which I think I showed on the screen for the day, is currently at 774. So that means for the sprint, I got 774 minus 285, which is 489. So not quite double what I got in the 12-minute sprint, even though the sprint was double the time. But I'm still pretty happy with that. And I did, in For the Words, I did break my criteria to have what's a streak in the game, which is you have to write 444 words a day to have it count for a streak. This is just day 2 of a streak. I've gotten above 100 before, but I really have kind of been taking a break from it. Most of last month I didn't really use it. So I'm starting the streak again, and I am on day 2. So I did defeat some monsters. I did get my writing streak in For the Words, and I wrote so far today 774 words. So I think I'm going to take a break. I'm going to maybe walk the dog, do some stuff around the house, and then I'll come back for the 36-minute sprint. Hi, I'm back. So I took a break. I walked the dog. It was beautiful out. I saw a huge bird. I think maybe a vulture or an eagle. I tried to get some video, but it flew away before I could get it. And I also saw a deer sleeping under somebody's deck in the shade, which was pretty cute. And so I walked the dog, and I spent some time editing a different YouTube video, the one that will probably go up before this one, about underrated craft books. So I edited that for a little bit, made myself some lunch, and now I am here. I'm ready to go into the 36-minute sprint for my ladder. So I'm gonna set up a 36-minute timer. I'm gonna pull up For the Words. I have some monsters queued up to defeat, and I'm gonna write for 36 minutes. So I have just finished the 36-minute sprint, and my total for the day is at 1528 words. So if I want to see how much I did for this sprint, I did 750 words, which is less than the previous 36 minutes, like the 12 and the 24 put together. I do think I tend to do better in shorter sprints. In the longer ones, I tend to lose some steam. But I also finished the scene that I was working on and kind of had to transition into a new scene and figure out what I was doing. And I have outlined this book, but not like all the scene details. I know kind of the big like tentpole plot points that I am trying to get to, but I don't necessarily know all the details, so kind of transitioning between the scenes is a little bit harder. So I think I lost a little bit of steam there in that transition. But I am happy so far with today's writing. I have, again, 1528, which is more than what I typically write in a day, and I still have the 48-minute sprint to do later. I definitely am feeling like, oh, I'm writing and the writing is not very good. This is like a first draft, like a really, really zero first draft. And I always feel like I'm super aware of the fact that the writing, like the sentence level writing, is just really, really bad. And I'm someone who's gonna rewrite the entire thing basically once the scene is done. And I used to do this like scene by scene, like I'd write a scene, like zero drafting it, and then I'd rewrite it. But I would find myself kind of getting stuck on the scene. So like this is chapter 3, like I said, and chapters 1 and 2 in this book, I rewrote like the entire chapter, like probably 3 times or 4 times each. And I just wanted to actually make some progress in this book. So I'm going to try maybe to not just rewrite the scene. Maybe I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to end up doing, but I'm trying to focus on getting new words and progress in the draft. Maybe I'll let myself like once a week spend some time going back and rewriting some of the scenes, or maybe I'll just not. Maybe I'll really just try to not. I do feel like it helps me have more confidence in the project when I can look at some scenes I've already written that aren't, like, in my opinion, bad writing. But I just sometimes I can write a scene and I'm like, oh, this is actually really good. I like the writing. But most of the time I'm like just getting what happens on the page, and then I have to go back and like rewrite it so that it doesn't sound like just kind of garbage. But that said, I am excited about the fact that I completed some battles in For the Words. Okay, so I am back. I'm here in my old lady sweater because it's a little bit chilly in my office. And I am getting ready to go into the last sprint of the ladder, which is the 48-minute sprint, which I gotta admit I'm a little bit intimidated by. But it is like almost 7 p.m. It's like 6:45. And if I don't do this now, I'm worried that I won't actually get it done tonight. And I really do want to actually do this whole method and do the entire ladder. So I'm gonna do this last sprint. I'm hoping for anywhere between 500 and 1,000 words in the 48 minutes. I've done a lot of writing already today, so I don't want to like put too much pressure on myself to get too many words, but I'd be happy with anywhere in that range. If I got 500, it would bring me up to like 2K for the day, which for me is a really good writing day. So I guess I will just get started. I'm going to be in For the Words like I was for the other sprints. I have some monsters queued up for me to battle. I might get to actually complete one more of the quests that I have picked up right now. So hopefully I will finish the sprint and I will get some good words in, and I will check in with you guys afterwards. So I finished the 48-minute sprint, and I've just looked at what my word count for the sprint was, and it turned out to be 940 in the 48 minutes, which I'm really, really happy with, actually. That's right near the top of the range that I was aiming for, and it means that I broke 2K for the day. My total word count for the day, it's actually 2,470, which for me is an excellent writing day. I'm really, really pleased with that. And I actually did defeat a couple monsters in For the Words as well. I do have a quest that I can deliver, and I am really, really happy with how it turned out. I think in terms of this method for writing sprints, the ladder method, I can really see the appeal of it. I think that starting out small with the 12 minutes, going to the 24, 36, and 48, you are really kind of building up. And I think by the time you get to the 48, you feel like you're almost half done, or you are over half done, but you've done 3 of the 4 sprints. And at least for me, I felt like I wanted to finish the ladder. I wanted to do that longest sprint because I'd already achieved the other ones. I didn't want to leave it as 3 out of 4 complete. And I think that that's a great motivator, at least for me. I do think something that I'm noticing more and more about myself is that I find the longer sprints harder. And I hope that I can kind of build up my writing stamina a little bit more. But I definitely found the 12-minute and the 24-minute the easiest for me to like sit and focus and write for. And then 36 and the 48 were harder. But again, I think that the strategy of building up to that last long 48-minute sprint and feeling like you're at the last rung of the ladder and you want to finish it is really useful. I think for me, this is something I would do on like a weekend day like today, because just 2 hours of writing, I know some people do it every day, even during the week. For me, I just typically don't have the time, but also just the like mental energy to spend 2 hours on my writing during the work week. And I think if I were like, I think if I were to start it on a work day, I would end up failing it and then feel bad about that. So at least for now, this would be like a weekend or day off type thing for me to do. But I could definitely see myself doing the ladder method again. So thanks to Alyssa Writes, or Alyssa in the Books, and Brielle Writes for that one. Hi, hello, I'm back. It's been a while since I was working on this video and doing these Authortube writing challenges. So it is actually Memorial Day right now, and I have the day off from work, which means I have a good chunk of time and I can do another one of these writing sprint challenges where it is, more time total in a day. And so I want to do the last one that I kind of have planned for this video, which is Kate Kavanaugh's Stair Step challenge that she's done. She did a whole video about it when she came up with it, and then I think she's used it in some other videos. But the idea of this one is you start with 20 minutes and a 20-minute sprint, and you try and get, I think, at least 300 words is what she did. So that's what I'm going to do. And then if you get 300 words in the 20 minutes, your next sprint is going to go down and be a 15-minute sprint, and you're going to be trying to beat whatever your word count was in the 20-minute sprint. And if you don't get the 300 words, you're going to go up to 25 minutes, and you're still going to be trying to beat whatever you got in the last sprint. And the result is that you can go down all the way to 5 minutes and beat yourself. And in Kate's video, she did I think 8 sprints. So I'm gonna try and do the same sprints that she did, depending on if I go up or not. If I don't beat myself when she did, I'm not gonna make it down to 5 minutes. But my goal is to do 8 sprints, regardless of where I kind of end up afterwards. And so I think I'm just gonna kind of get started. Again, I am working on my historical highwayman romance, same one I was working on when I did the 4-season sprint and the ladder method sprinting. And I'm going to try the stair step method and kind of see what I can get done today and if I like it. And I'm excited. I think I'm not going to do it all at once. I'm not going to do a sprint and back to back to back until I finish. I'm probably going to do the 20-minute sprint and maybe one more sprint and then take a break or whatever. But I'll check in and kind of let you know what's going on. So I just did the 20-minute sprint and I got 400 words, which is actually great. I'm really happy with that. But so that means I'm going to go down to 15 minutes and try and beat 400 words. And I was writing for the words, so I did defeat some monsters. It's a lot of fun. And I'm excited for the next sprint. I was thinking about it, and I think I need to go look at Kate's video again, because I said in the intro to this that she did 8 sprints. And I need to look at how that worked out, because if it goes 20, 15, 10, 5, that's only 4. Maybe she went up a couple times. But maybe I'll just revise my goal as to try and get down to 5 minutes. Maybe it'll be 8 sprints or down to 5 minutes, whichever comes first. Because I'm just not sure exactly how the 8 fits into it. And I could rewatch her video, but just not 100% sure. But I'm going to at least try and get down to the 5-minute sprint and see what happens. But yeah, 400 words in 20 minutes. I'm really happy with that. So I think I'm going to do the 15-minute sprint and keep writing, because I'm kind of in this part where I'm trying to figure out what happens. It's actually something I was listening to the sessions of the Writing Romance Mastery Summit, and I have a video about that. I don't know if it's going to go up before or after this one, but I was listening to one of the sessions of the virtual writing summit, and I realized what should happen in this scene and a couple of the events. So I'm trying to add that in. I'm trying not to bog myself down in research right now, because I'm really just trying to get this first draft done. But it is a scene where I'm talking about horses and carriages and things like that, and I don't fully know that I know all the information I need for this scene, but I'm going to do my best, and I can always like fill it in later in revision and do more research. So that's it. I'm going to go into the 15-minute sprint, and then maybe I'll make myself some coffee and go into the other ones. And maybe I might look up Kate's video and try and figure out where the 8 sprints came from, because I'm sure she did 8, and I'm not sure where that came from. Okay, so I just finished the 10-minute sprint. No, I just finished the 15-minute sprint. And I got 448 words. So that is more than the 400 I got in the 20-minute sprint. So next I'm going to go down to 10 minutes. And I did actually go back to Kate Kavanaugh's video and solve the mystery of where the 8 sprints came from. And it's because when she did it, she was going like from 15 minutes to 10 minutes back up to 15 minutes to 10 minutes back up to 15 minutes. And now that I can like understand that, I can see how those are the sprints where you kind of like get stuck. Because I just did 15 minutes. I did 448 words. I'm not sure if I can do more than that in 10 minutes. But if I can, I'm not sure if I can get down to 5. But I guess we'll find out and see. I do need to take a break and charge my phone because I film on my phone and the battery is low. And I'm going to take a break, do some other things around the house, and then I'll come back and do a 10-minute sprint and see if I can beat 448 words. And yeah, I guess we'll see. Okay, so I'm back, and I did end up making my coffee. It's in a mug that I think Kate from Kate Kavanaugh's channel would like. It says, "I just want to drink coffee and pet my dog." And I'm going to go into the 10-minute sprint. And if I'm going to not have to go back up to the 15-minute sprint, I have to get at least 448 words in 10 minutes. Which I think is doable, but hard for me. So I'm hoping to do that. And I do think that I'm going to do either 8 sprints, or if I get to like the 5-minute sprint, I can just kind of call it then. But yeah, so I have to do 448 words in 10 minutes, which we'll see if I can do or not. I do have this problem where, so I'm writing a first draft, and really it's a 0 draft type thing. Like I tend to not use that word because I have like done some planning. I'm not completely just like pantsing the entire thing. But in terms of the writing quality, it's not good, you know? And typically what I end up doing is I write this first draft and kind of immediately rewrite it a couple times until I get something where I'm like, okay, this is at least a first draft. But because I'm really trying to finish my draft in the next 100 days, I have this goal of writing like 90,000 words, or finishing the draft, whichever comes first, before August 24th. And it was like a 100-day goal. So I set this goal, like a week or two ago. So the goal is to write either 90,000 words or finish the draft by August 24th. And if I'm going to do that, I can't write a scene and then rewrite it 6 times, right? Like, and then be like, okay, that's my first draft scene done, because it's just too slow and I don't make enough progress. And then I feel like I'm not making progress and I get stuck and then I give up. And so I'm trying something different where what I'm going to have at the end is tens of thousands of words that are more of a 0 draft quality standard in my mind than like a first draft. And I'll have to like probably rewrite everything. Like my first round of revision is going to be like full rewriting of a lot, and I have to kind of accept that. But I'm really trying to get over this hump of not being able to finish things because I spend a lot of time like thinking about storycraft and learning about storycraft, and I love stories and I love writing, and I'm really proud of what I do for my like paid beta reading clients. I think that I can give like really good advice on other people's stories, but then I don't ever get to that phase of like revising my own stories because I never finish the first drafts. Like I just get so stuck, or I end up skipping parts and then say I'm done with the first draft, but like I'm not really, because like you can't read it from beginning to end. So I really want something where like the entire story is there, even if it's bad. And so that's what I'm trying to do with this goal, with this project. And by August 24th, that's my like personal deadline of 100 days or 90,000 words. Because again, like, because I haven't really finished things, I'm like, what if I write long? What if it is like the type of thing where I write 150,000 word draft and need to cut out 60K words, right? Like, I can't know that now. So like, if I write 90,000 words and the draft isn't done, I'll still be happy and just have to keep going. But hopefully the draft will be done either before I hit the 90K or right around that 90K. So all that to say, right now I'm writing these scenes and I'm like mentally, oh, the quality is so bad. And I just need to turn that part of my brain off, which is hard. And I just need to accept that, like, yes, this scene is missing setting details and descriptions and interiority, and you don't get as much character depth as I would like, but the bones of the scene are there, right? And I just need to accept that. I will go back and fix it, or decide that I don't need the scene or something. But all that to say, I'm going to go into the 10-minute sprint and hopefully write 448 words or more. And we'll see. Okay, so I just finished the 10-minute sprint, and I think I was crazy to think that it was even doable because I only got 278 words. I would have needed 448 to beat what I had in the 15-minute sprint. So I'm going to go back up to 15, and I'll need to beat 278, which is definitely doable. But I don't know what I was thinking, that like 448. I was like, yeah, that's totally doable. And like maybe it is sometimes, just not for the scene that I'm working on. Because I feel like I was like going as fast as I could, given like trying to figure out what's going on. And it went by so quickly, the 10 minutes. So I'm going to go back up to 15 and beat the 278. Hopefully I'll beat the 278. And then go back down to 10. And I think this is where in Kate's video, she was kind of going back and forth between 10 and 15 a bunch of times. So we'll see what I can do. But I am at like 1,100 words for the day so far, which is pretty good. I did, as I said, I have this goal of like 90K by August 24th, which when I set the goal was 100 days, which would have been 900 words a day. Right? And I am a little bit behind because like my like what I need to hit daily to hit that is at 932 right now. So hopefully as I'm writing more today, I'll kind of like catch up and at least get down to that 900 per day number. That is, you know, what if I wrote every single day for the 100 days or 900 words, I would end up with the 90K. Yeah. So I'm going to do the next 15-minute sprint. Okay, so I just finished the second 15-minute sprint, and I did get more than the 278 words. So it's 332 words that I just got. So that means I can go back down to another 10-minute sprint and try and get more than 332, which is more doable than 448. Last time I only got the 278, so I'm not sure. But we're going to try our best to beat the 332 in 10 minutes. Yeah. This scene is hard because it's a lot of horses. She ends up riding a horse, like, bareback in the rain. And I don't know, like, I don't know anything really about horses. I've read a lot of historical romance novels, and there's horses in them, and, like, when I read it, I'm like, oh, yeah. I know what all that is, right? But when you're trying to write something, it's a lot harder. And so this is definitely a scene that, like, eventually, if it stays in the book, there's going to be a lot of horse carriage related research. It's really hard when I don't know much about horses, especially in, like, the Georgian Regency era. And I know I can just research it later, but also, like, I don't even know, like, how I'm gonna, like, research all of this. It might be something down the line. Like, I might need to find somebody who knows about horses, or, like, even historical horses, who could, like, give me some feedback or something. I don't know. The scene might not even stay in the book. This is what I mean where I'm saying, like, I get so caught up in, like, what's gonna need to be revised about this scene. I'm like, I shouldn't even be thinking about that right now. I should be thinking about doing my next 10-minute sprint now, and also just getting the first draft, zero draft done, and then I can go back and decide if I even need these scenes, or if they even fit the book, and if they do, then I can do the research and rewrite it. And I'm such somebody who thinks so far in the future that I don't actually do the thing. Like, I have been wanting to start a YouTube channel, an Authortube channel, for years and years, and, like, will, like, think about it and learn about how to do it and all of this stuff, and then not actually do it. I mean, now I'm starting it, but, like, this is part of my, like, I'm trying to change how I do these things, where instead of getting stuck thinking about learning everything and never actually doing the thing, or thinking about what am I going to have to do to this later and never finishing the first step. So I'm really trying to, like, be better about that. I don't even know if any of that, what I just said, made sense, but I think maybe it did. But anyways, in the spirit of not wasting time thinking about all the things that I'm going to need to change in the future, let's go into the next 10-minute sprint and try and get at least 332 words. So I just did the 10-minute sprint, and unfortunately I did not get the 332 words. I got 301 words. So I'm back up to 15. So I am kind of just in this 10-15 loop, which is the same thing that happened in Kate Kavanaugh's video. But I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This next 15 will be my 6th sprint. So we'll see if I get to the 5, or if I just get to 8 sprints and then call it. But yeah, next is a 15 where I have to beat 301 words. But either way, I am at almost 1,800 words for the day, which is really good. I'm still working on this scene with, like, the carriage, horses, but I do really feel like first drafts, maybe even second drafts, I don't know, I really haven't done a lot past the first draft, right? But it feels like you have spaghetti, and it's cooked spaghetti, right? And you're trying to bundle it back up into a bundle of noodles. Like, when you take it out of the box and it's uncooked, you can have a nice, neat bundle of spaghetti noodles and just hold it, right? But what I feel like, and that's all the ideas you have, right? Crazy metaphor, but that's all the ideas you have when you're thinking about your story. You're like, okay, these are my spaghetti noodles. And mentally, it's these hard, straight, you can just gather them up and you have a nice little bundle of uncooked spaghetti. But then when you're actually drafting, somehow the noodles are cooked and you're trying to gather them up into that nice little bundle, and they're just flopping everywhere and twisting around and sticking together, and it's kind of a mess. And I don't know where that metaphor goes after that, but that's what it feels like to me. I'm like trying to gather up cooked spaghetti into a bundle when I'm doing this, because I do have all these kind of like themes and ideas and backstory and moments and things that I want to show, and I know what I want the character arc to be, but like how do you weave that in? And I know that it comes in revision, and I just need to get that right theme of this vlog. But that's what it feels like to me. Anyways, again, I'm going on a tangent here, but I want to do that 15 and beat 301, hopefully, and see where we're going next from here. Okay, so I just finished that 15-minute sprint, and I got 369 words, which would mean in my 10-minute sprint, I would need to beat that. And I don't think that's going to happen. I'm going to try. But I just did my 6th sprint, so I'm going to do 2 more sprints. And either it's going to be a 10-minute and a 5-minute, which I doubt, or it's going to be a 10-minute and another 15-minute. And then I'm going to like call it for the day, because that'll be my 8 sprints. But I really don't think I'm going to beat that 369 in 10 minutes. 1, because I haven't gotten to that number in 10 minutes so far. But 2, because I'm finishing up this scene. I'm on like the last couple sentences of it, and then I'm going to go into another scene. And I am always slower at the beginning of a scene, especially I'm switching point of view between my heroine and my hero. And I'm just always a little bit slower trying to figure out where the scene is going. So I don't think that that's going to like I don't think I'm going to hit the 369 in 10 minutes, but we will try. And the worst thing that happens is we do a 10-minute and a 15-minute. And my total for the day is 2,128 words so far, which is really good for me. So hopefully I'll get to like 2,500 words for the day. That would be amazing. That's an amazing writing day for me. And yeah, let's get into it. 2 more sprints. And drum roll, please. I didn't do it. I got 230 words in the 10 minutes and not more than 369. So that means I'm going to go up to a 15-minute sprint, and this is going to be my last sprint of this challenge because this is going to be my 8th sprint, and I think I just have to cut it there. And I think that is a really good, I think it's a really fair representation of what the stair step writing method that Kate Kavanaugh did is, because she, even though she got to the 5 minutes, she did 8 sprints. So I think that's a really like fair, giving it a fair try and everything. And so I am going to do the 15-minute sprint. I'm going to be trying to get more than 230 words. But again, it's definitely going to be my last sprint for the day, so I'm not going to like go do another 10-minute if I do that. But if I do get above the 230, I will break that 25K for, not 25K, what am I talking about? 2,500 for the day, and I will be really happy with that. I am like starting a new scene. I just switched. I finished off the scene I was working on and I switched to the other character's point of view. So that's a little bit slower. And he's kind of like processing what happened, and there's going to be some drama, and so I'm working on that. But I'm going to do one more 15-minute, and then I am going to be done with my Stair Step writing challenge. And that is it, my last sprint, the 15-minute sprint, my 8th sprint. And in terms of the words I got, let me just do the math. I got 352 in that last 15-minute sprint. So that's really good. And that brings my total for the day, based on these 8 sprints, to 2,710 words, which I'm really, really happy with. So even though I didn't get down to the 5 minutes, I think that this was a good writing sprint strategy. If you're somebody who likes trying to beat yourself, I think in terms of comparing it to the other writing sprint strategies that I've tried, the Vivaldi Sprint from Alyssa in the books, and then the ladder from Alyssa and Brielle writes, I think this one probably is my least favorite, just because I feel like there's less of an end to it. I'm somebody who really likes to have a challenge and be like, oh, I'm halfway there, or almost done. And this, even though I said 8 sprints, it feels much more open-ended than those other 2 strategies. So for me, I think that this is one that I might not do again, or I might do again only in certain situations. But something that this writing experiment and also the ladder writing experiment really showed me is that I very much prefer shorter sprints to longer ones. So I really like the 10 and 15-minute sprints, even the 20-minute sprints in this one, in terms of the amount of time for a sprint. And in the ladder, I felt the same way, where I really liked the 12-minute sprint and the 24-minute sprint. And then once I got above that, it got a little bit harder for me to maintain the focus and the stamina for that entire sprint. So I think that's something that's really useful to kind of find out about yourself is as a writer, is what is your ideal writing sprint time? But even if it's not a sprint, just how long is a good way to chunk up your focused writing time? And for me, it's definitely currently shorter. I think the 12-minute in the ladder method was actually my favorite in terms of the time, but I like the 15-minute as well. And I actually think that because now I know that about myself, I want to do a writing experiment where I do just 12-minute sprints and see how many I can do over the course of a day. I think I'm actually going to maybe do that this week, and I will hopefully have a video on that at some point. If you're interested in seeing that sometime or seeing more content from me, definitely subscribe, follow, and hopefully I'll be able to put that out for you guys. That is going to be it for me for this video. And again, let me know in the comments if you've tried any of these writing sprint methods, if you want to try any of these writing sprint methods, if you have any writing sprint methods that you really, really like. And if you prefer long sprints versus short sprints, what's your ideal sprint writing time? And if you did make it to the end of the video, I'd love it if you left a clock emoji in the comments, because we did so many timed sprints in this video. And that is going to be it for me. I will see you all very soon in another video.